Here's a really important issue. New South Wales Environment Minister Mr Kean has been accused of crushing the identity of Snowy Mountains by forging ahead with plans to remove the iconic brumbies from the Kosciuszko National Park. Former National Party MP Peter Cochran has accused Kean and his department of colluding with the anti-brumby activists by assembling a draft management plan that could recommend aerial and ground shooting of the brumbies to protect the environment. According to Cochran, Kean has ignored legislation passed by his own government in 2018, championed by John Barilaro, to both be able to protect the brumby and local ecosystems. Peter Cochran joins me now. Peter Cochran, thank you for the time. This is such an important issue. I know everything's important at the moment. We can't let this go. How has Mr Kean sidestepped the Parliament?
Well, Peter, thanks very much for taking interest in the saving the snowy brumby. Mr Kean has had that legislation in place, and two panels recommended by the legislation to pass judgment on a good management plan for the brumbies. He's had it for 3 years. And the fact is that he's bypassed it in every possible way he has by referring back to a 2008 management plan, which allows them to trap or to remove any number of brumbies that they can. And the entire purpose of the legislation promoted by John Barilaro was to dissolve the dispute within the communities. Both sides have reasonable arguments as to whether the brumbies should be there or not, but the fact is they're part of our cultural heritage. The people surrounding the Snowy Mountains, including myself, are absolutely passionate about keeping them. We're damned angry at the moment, and this fellow Kean, no wonder the Liberal Party, Peter, are losing votes, and the polls are showing they're going down. This fellow's not helping them, believe me. We are so damned angry with this man because he just totally ignores part of the democracy. 62,000 people died in the First World War, Peter, to provide us with freedom and the right to have a democracy. This bloke is totally disregarding it, and he has to be taken into account. And I'm challenging him now to release the management plan, to release the scientific panel report, and let the people know what they found out, because we know that what he's promoting and what the National Parks and Wildlife Service are promoting is barefaced lies.
So what's his agenda? Why does he want the brumbies out of the snowy?
Well, you know, Peter, and I know that the woke brigade are alive and well in Australia, and everything that's to do with our cultural heritage or, you know, our British history or anything like that has to go. And the man from the Snowy River is an iconic part of our history. At the 2000 Olympic Games, we used that image to promote Australia across the world, and proudly so. Everybody was proud of the opening of the Olympic Games. And there is a cult within Australia now operating within the political fields. They start from Get Up and other places where they're doing what they can to destroy whatever is part of our cultural history. The band from the Snowy River is an image that they don't like. They don't like the horses in the Snowy Mountains. They're claiming that there's environmental damage. And the scientific report, which is available to the minister, and I would be surprised if he's even read it, and that quite clearly spells out that the claimed amount of damage is minimal compared with what the Reclaim Kosciuszko and Endangered Species Council, others that are claiming the damage is done. It's just not there. The horses are not there, Peter. There was never 30,000, 20,000 or 10,000 horses. There's lucky to be 900 horses there now in 6 million acres, and they occupy less than 20% of the park.
Well, give me a sense of how they're trapped. I mean, how humane are they being treated?
Well, the way that they're trapped is that feedlots are set up in the form of logs which have trenches in them, cutting the logs, and they put molasses and lucerne and attractive food items in there for the brumbies, and they start to feed them without a trap round them, without a yard round them. And eventually, after the horses get into the habit of getting in there, what they do then is they erect the yards, the horses get trapped, snap a gate closed, and you'll end up with horses inside, and they take them away in trailers. But what happens in that process, I mean, horses are frantic when they get in there. They're wild animals. They throw themselves against the side of the yards. The foals get disconnected from their mothers. The families of the DNA families which we're tracing are being separated, and these are horses that go back to settlement, Peter. These are some of the Suffolk punches and, you know, the silver brumbies, these things which are really written into, they're ingrained in our history. And we can't afford to let this go. Australia's got such a shallow white man culture that we have to protect whatever we have. And they're doing everything they can to destroy it. And Kean's right behind it. Make no mistake about it. The left wing, the Liberal Party, have got a lot to answer for in New South Wales.
I tell you what, Peter Cochran, keep up this fight. I know a lot of my audience will be with you tonight. I'll stay in touch with you. We'll see if we get some answers from the Minister's office as well. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Peter.